Okay, so tonight's lesson is going to be on what's going to be on your quiz tomorrow. So your quiz tomorrow is going to be fairly straightforward. You're going to be given the 5 function families. I'm going to list them out, and on notebook paper you're going to draw an example. So very simply, for absolute, I will put absolute value on the board, and then you will draw me an absolute value example. So we can go like this. That would be an example of an absolute value function. Or you could also do the reverse and do it like this. Oops, a little bit better than mine. Okay, and then I'm going to say draw a piecewise graph. So again, a piecewise graph is linear lines and pieces. So you can draw any example you would like of that. Okay. You're also going to have to draw an example of a linear function. So again, that should be pretty straightforward. There's only one linear function that you can't, or only one line that you can't draw that's not a function, and that would be a vertical line. If you drew this, you would be wrong because that does not pass our vertical line test. So so you can draw any line there. I'm going to redo this one because it just looks so bad. There we go. So you're going to draw any line for a linear function. The only one you cannot draw is a vertical line because, again, that doesn't pass our vertical line test, therefore it's not a function. And then we have our quadratic. If you want to draw a quadratic to the negative or positive infinity, you would draw it like this. Or you could draw a quadratic to negative infinity, which would be this way. Not both, just one. Okay. Exponential, we know, is our swoop. So again, you could draw an increasing exponential. Or if you wanted to draw a decreasing exponential, you could do that as well. Okay. So you're just drawing here. The last thing I'm going to add, well, 2 last things I'm going to ask you to do is to draw me an example of a non-function. So something that is not a function. So you could draw that vertical line. You could draw a circle. It's not a function because, again, it won't pass our vertical line test. You do all sorts of different things. And then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is to write out in words how you can determine a function. Oops, right? How can you determine a function? And you can do that in several ways. We have our vertical line test, and so if you're going to use that as your answer, you want to make sure you explain how the vertical line test works. That when you draw a vertical line and anywhere of the graph in multiple places, it only goes through it once. Or you can explain what the domain is, that it's all the x values, and that the domain, the x value can only occur once. If it occurs more than once, that means it would not pass the vertical line test, therefore it's not a function. And then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is just very quickly tell me what the domain is of a graph and the range. And so again, hopefully you would know the domain is the x values and the range is the y values. And that's going to be it. It's going to be a nice quick quiz on Friday. So just make sure that you can draw each one of the 5 function families, draw something that's not a function, explain in words how you determine a function, and then tell me what the domain and range of a graph is, and that'll be it. So I hope you guys have fun on your field trip tomorrow, and don't forget to study for your test on Friday. Don't be a zombie. Study for your quiz.